it's not there anymore. Why? Why is it not there anymore? Because it's caused by this part of the shadow. All right, so I want you to learn to think about how light falls on forms. All right? So that now you will never, no matter how good you get, oh, I got to show this to you. Just, shoot, I don't have it. I'm actually not going to drink it. I don't think. So we got into this great discussion earlier, and I was telling the students how your goal is not to reproduce this. Your goal is to understand it, and no matter how good you get, these kinds of simple things will surprise you. All right, and so one of the things we were talking about was I was showing the students how reflected light was affecting things. Like, look at how bright the bottom of this cast shadow is. Or, I mean, this core shadow. See right there how it's a lot darker up here and a lot lighter right down there? Because it's getting all this light from the tabletop. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. And no matter how good you get, you won't be good enough to anticipate everything. It will always surprise you when you see real life. I did something this morning, and the whole all the students went, because it was kind of shockingly cool. And that's what I've got Brandon off doing right now. It's really kind of cool. And I'd never seen it before, but all the students went, oh, and I said, okay, welcome to my life. I walk around and I'm going, oh, and I was telling the morning class, it's amazing I have never had a car accident that I was responsible for, because I will be driving and go, oh, that's so cool, look at that shadow, and look at it. So this isn't about reproduction. It's about understanding, and you will never fully understand it, but just know these things. So anyway, I want you to know that this core shadow is disappearing because of this reflected light, so that if you're drawing this, but you're drawing it on an arm out here, you know not to put it there. You see what I mean? So now here's the thing that's going to blow you guys away. Brandon, you're going to dig this. We were totally nerding out about this. Okay, so first of all, I'll just do it. Okay, watch you guys. Let's see. Okay, watch the shadow right here.
They can go here on the side.
They can go anywhere they want. Okay, but watch this. And all of a sudden, holy shit, that's cool!
You can read the label.
Whoa.
It's a CD.
And it's because this is an absence of light, except for the light coming off of here. And this is an aluminum can, so it's highly reflective. So it's becoming a fairly strong second light source to the point that we're reflecting it into it. It's like, how cool is that? That's totally bizarre. I didn't plan this as part of the demo last week, I never knew that would happen. I'm going to show it to Angela, and she's going to go, whoo, because we're nerds. But yeah, it's totally cool, how that happens. So, in any case, actually, you guys, we've got it here. Take a look at the Coke can, and do you see that it's very difficult to see the core shadow on the Coke can because it's reflecting the white of the table? This is messed up. There's no way you can make that up unless you've drawn lots of reflective objects and you can guess. But now here's one other thing. Look where you do see the core shadow of the Coke can. On the tapering top, where it's not reflecting the table, it's reflecting the ceiling. Or it's reflecting, stuff at a higher angle. It's reflecting dark stuff up here. Okay? Isn't that kind of neat? All right, now, the main thing I wanted to focus on in this, we've already talked about light and lighting effects and stuff like this, but let me show you a few things that happen. Someone put the projector up, and I'm going to do a couple of drawings here now. All right, now you guys, so we've got that right there. You can look at it while I'm talking. And what I want you to see is that if we have a shadow, or if we have a cylinder like this seen from above, and we have a light source, actually let's do it in the same direction. Let's say we have the light source here, and we're aiming at it. Actually, let me do it over here. So the light source is in it. The light that's hitting here is hitting here and ostensibly bouncing right back. If it were a mirrored surface like the Coke can, it's coming straight back. If it's a surface like the plaster, it's actually kind of, the thrust of it is here, but it's also kind of doing this. But it's a strong reflection of the light. Like for us, that's where the highlight is, because we're behind the light. Now, what happens though is, as the light's coming in at an angle, it comes off, if you use this curve here, it comes off at a reciprocal angle. You see what I mean? Now, this is going to be darker than this in value. Because think about a cube. If you have a plane change, an angle change towards the light, you change the value. Well, with a sphere, with a circular object, or a cylinder, you're always, every square inch is changing the thing. So it's a consistent gradual change in value. Now, as you do this, watch what happens. You get these lines coming in, and you're getting very shallow angles, like this, and then there's a point, say like there, or actually maybe a bit there, where the light ray becomes tangent to the cylinder. Where it becomes tangent, that's where the shadow begins. Now, the important part of this to understand is if you zoomed in on this, and you saw it going, and there's the light tangent point right here. As these light rays are coming in, a light ray hitting right here is just barely reflecting off the surface. So it's coming and going, no. And actually at half that angle, and it's very shallowly reflecting. So how bright is it going to be? It's not going to be bright. It's going to be very dark, because it's barely kissing the light off of the surface. So what ends up happening is, if this is where the shadow is, this is the area that is not receiving light, so it's in shadow. These areas actually look very dark right up until the shadow and then gradate to the light. So that's why you get a soft edge right there. Is because it's gradating. Essentially, you guys, this is what I want you to realize. Take a look at this area right in front of the shadow. Now look. That's why it gets dimmer at night after the sun goes down. You're in the form shadow of the spherical Earth. Okay? The light isn't hitting you directly, but it's still hitting the Earth and the atmosphere above your head, and So it's or it's about to hit you at dawn, you know. Anyway, so that's why you get that gradated edge. Now, if you take a look there, you guys see all the reflected light back here? Okay? And if I take, can you put in the notes? Piece of foam for? So let's say we have a corner or a wall. First of all, watch the back of the cylinder. You guys see all that reflected light? That's all from the proximity of the wall. Now if we go straight up to it, like this, watch as I get closer. You see what I mean? And this is even a matte surface. This is not highly reflective. Okay, now, also, look at the shadow on the wall. Actually, let me do it a little bit like this, so that as many people as possible can see it. Do you see how there's a very definite plane change? Okay, can you guys visualize can you visualize this ellipse as an entire ellipse? Can you see that it's perpendicular? Yeah, it's tilted?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, it's because the paper, okay, is that better?
There you go.
Oh, because, yeah, it's a square, okay, yeah, that's, anyway. Now let's see, what else did I want to demonstrate on this? So, I want you guys to look at that, but I want you to understand, I want you to see this by comparison. Do you see how with this one it's really obvious which is the first plane to not receive the light directly? It's dramatically darker. But watch, I can almost make this one, if I want to make this plane almost as dark as the shadow, watch. See how much darker it is than that? And then into the shadow. Okay, so Mr. Gosselin is here.
I'm your new model. I'll be.
All right, take off your pants.
Okay,
All right,
you're already off.
what you got, Dave?
Hey, can you swing by when you take a break? I have an Excel question I need help with.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. What was I going to say? So, do you guys see how each facet is the value change? Well, this is literally a rough cut of this. It's the same thing, though. Same concept. Same exact concept. Does anybody have any questions so far? There's a couple additional things I want to show you real quick. But. Oh, so look at the base of the core shadow. How it's how you've got it dark here, and then here it gets kind of washed out because it's getting all this light. And I'm going to make this as dark as this. Yeah, and how it affects the shadows on this side. All right. Any other quick? Yeah.
So, not just because of the perspective, is the occlusion shadow thicker than the shadow size?
What's happening? Thicker, I don't know if I would say thicker. What's happening is this.